is in Yorkshire this week. Okay, we're working. Welcome. Right, welcome everybody to Haverhill Town Council's Civic Events Working Party. As ever, any decisions will have to go to, we'll normally go to Leisure and Community, but we haven't actually got one before the election, so I don't think anything will actually go anyway, because if we make decisions, we can't. So we'll have to wait till after the election if there is anything made. I believe that's right, Colin. Just nod or.
Well, some decisions will be enacted under delegated authority anyway.
Yeah, depends if we want to suddenly spend a lot of money or something. Right. Welcome. Apologies for absence, then, please, Colin.
Given what you've just said about Councillor Lucarini, and he did give his apologies for the other meeting, I assume he simply omitted to give his apologies for this one, so we'll include him for that.
Yeah, lovely.
And also for Vicky Phillips as well, gives apologies. Yeah, and Gary Wilson is also on annual leave.
Yeah, it's that time of the year, isn't it? Right, declarations of interest and requests for dispensations. I won't bother reading it. Anybody? No, okay, moving on. Minutes of the previous meeting held on the 16th of January. Have you got those to hand, Colin? Yes. Okay, so first of all, can I have, I guess you've all those relevant have read it. Can I have a proposer, please? Councillor Brown, seconded by, sorry, who's that? Was that Brian I just saw? Yeah. I assume Brian can vote, Colin?
Yes, he's a member of the Working Party.
Yeah, just making sure. That's fine. Okay, all those in favour, please show. Must be hand, there it is. Lovely, thank you very much. Okay, let's go on to item number 5, which is matters arising that are not on the agenda. So I'm moving down, I've got on page 1, page 2. Well, Max is here, I see. So did we invite anybody from the RBL, do you know, Colin?
We sent an email, but there wouldn't be anyone coming at this stage because it's really only for the later events.
Yeah, that's fine. The next item down, I noticed there isn't a public forum, so we've missed it off this one, haven't we?
Yes, I could try and wiggle out of it by saying I didn't actually say I'd add it. I just said it could be added, but I should have read the minutes before I sent out the agenda, obviously.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's page 2. Moving down to top of page 3. I did go back with details of, I could call it sheep rustling, but something like that. Sheep herding down the high street is from my brother-in-law.
Yeah, thank you for that. And Sarah also provided me this information, what she knew about it. She'd say an alternative was geese, but I think probably with avian flu around at the moment, we probably wouldn't be allowed to herd geese anywhere. So, I mean, from what you found out, it looks it's not impossible. So whether we want to just kind of let that one roll a little bit as we're in the election time, etc., we can't announce it in any case, and see what we think after the election.
Yeah, okay, I'm quite happy with that. I guess everyone else is, unless anyone's dead against it. No, that's fine. Obviously we're going on to the mayor making in a little while anyway, on the agenda, so we'll ignore that one for the time being. Bottom of page 3. And we're going to be talking about the remembrance anyway later on, so we won't worry about that. And that is it. Lovely, thank you, Colin. Right, let's get straight on to item number 6, which is the civic events. To start with, the coronation weekend, 6th to the 8th of May. Who wants to start with that one?
Start off with that.
Yeah, come.
So the Leisure and Community Committee listened to the recommendations of this group, but have decided that they would like to see a event take place, a picnic in the park. We're very pleased to have Councillor Furman with us tonight, and obviously the Mayor is with us, so probably in terms of filling us in on plans, perhaps the Mayor and Councillor Furman are better placed than me, but we can confirm that the space is booked, so it's all systems go for that.
Dr. Davison.
Fantastic. Thank you, Colin. When you say the space is booked, what, it's officially booked or what?
Yeah, we've booked it. There's been a discussion with the Haverhill show, as they had booked the space as well, and all that the West Suffolk asked was that we liaise with them. They have no issues. They're not able to join us in a repeat of the Jubilee event, unfortunately. They don't have the resources for that because of the coronation, etc. But yeah, there'll be no issue in terms of them coming off and us getting on.
Right. So they booked a space, but they're not utilising it. Is that what you're saying?
No, what they're doing is early in the morning. What we're doing, obviously, will be a picnic in the afternoon, because there's the civic service or the coronation service, whatever you want to bill it as, happening at St Mary's, and you ask for an event in the afternoon, so there isn't an overlap.
Correct. Okay. As we have Sarah here, Sarah, I believe you've been talking to Councillor Furman. What is your suggestion regarding times?
My suggestion would be 12 till 3 o'clock, with Paul doing a set to begin and to end in a big finale, a 60s cover band in the middle to give Paul a break and just to have a little bit of variation in pace and theme, and then I've also been looking at street entertainer just to go in and out of the crowds, and to borrow some of the zone outdoor equipment like hoops and that sort of stuff, and use our colouring in and crafty activities, just so there's something extra to do. Okay,
interesting. What I was certainly trying to do regarding this was to keep everything as low cost as possible, because obviously we have no money. So have you actually booked the 60s cover band?
I penciled them in.
Okay. Would you like to make any comment, Councillor Furman?
Well, I think it's good. Like, I thought you was just trying to get the cost right down and everything. You know, doing things simple, but yeah, if you've got the money to do it, why not?
We don't actually have a budget as such, so any money would come out of reserves. Am I right, Colin? Is that right?
No, we have a budget of £9,000. It's just simply coming from reserves.
That's right.
So there is, you may recall at the Leisure and Community meeting, there was a discussion in terms of the cost of putting up the bunting and the flags, etc., and a concern about that being done by staff and councillors volunteering. So we've obtained a quote for getting that done we've got a couple of quotes, one from our existing Christmas lights installer and one from the previous company. Obviously, both have experience at Haverhill, and both have experience of putting up the various bits and bobs onto lamp columns and onto putting bunting up, etc. for us. So the one quote was £7,000 and one quote was £4,000. So waiting for this meeting to get approval to go ahead with the £4,000 quote, to ensure that all the banner flags for the lamp columns and all the bunting, etc., is up.
Yeah, because it's not just like we did for the coronation. This is lamppost stuff as well, isn't it?
So for the coronation,
sorry, the Jubilee, I meant last year.
Yeah, for the Jubilee, we hired a movable platform and a number of staff over a number of evenings, plus yourself and Councillor Lucarini, etc., put the bunting up. It wasn't free. I mean, at the end of the day, we paid the staff, and we had to hire the machinery for several days. So on this occasion, it would not only be putting the bunting up, it would also be attaching the banner arms to some of the new lamp columns that don't have banner arms, and putting the Union flag banners up on those as well and attaching them properly. So yes, we could do it ourselves. It probably wouldn't work out. It'd work out cheaper, but not hugely cheaper. And obviously, one of the issues was the kind of speed and efficiency, and there was a certain amount of bystander trolling going on from people who had nothing better to do than criticise those actually trying to help the town. That's the idea, is to kind of avoid that. I believe. I mean, it's your proposal, Chair. So I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I know that you had to field some completely unnecessary criticism. So that's the first 4,000. It's £5,000 to pay for the any additional things we want to do for the coronation. So hopefully that would happily cover the cost of an entertainer and a band if you want a band, or obviously we don't have to have a band.
No, I assume you'd finished, Colin, did you?
I hope so.
No, that's fine. You went on mute. That's all. I just suddenly cut off, and I was a bit worried. Okay, no, that's fine. Yeah, on the banners and bunting, I would agree. I mean, it's a lot of money, but it did take us 4 or 5 days working till. Well, we didn't go home till often till 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. And as you rightly said, we got criticised by people saying, why haven't you done our road yet, or why haven't you done this, and why are you doing that, and why are you bothering, that sort of thing. Complete opposite side of things. So, and we know from experience the people with the lighting for the Christmas lights, they've got the proper vehicles, they can chuck their legs down, get up, put up a thing, and they're down onto the next one before you. Where we had 4 or 5 people watching this thing, driving along the thing, it had to be leveled. If it tilted over, it stopped, and all kinds of things. So I would fully support that. Get it up as soon as possible, is my view. I don't know what other people think. Should we take a quick vote on that? Proposed by anyone? Tony, is that proposal? Is that you, Margaret? Councillor Mark seconding? Yeah. All those. We're going for the £4,000 one now. Obviously, we're talking about. Anybody else want to comment? Hands up now. All those in favour, please show then. Okay, that's that bit sorted. And then Councillor Davidson, back again.
Yeah, thank you. Regarding the timing, if I can address this to you, Sarah, you're saying 12 o'clock till 3. Is that movable? If nothing else, I've got to be in Bury St Edmunds for the Suffolk-wide coronation service, and that starts at 10 o'clock. So I'll be back by about 12 to 12:30. It would be preferable if we could have it starting in Haverhill more like about 12:30, 1 o'clock, and going on until perhaps 4 o'clock.
That's fine by me.
Jolly good. And this at this point, I want to bring in the Reverend Max, because we're trying to obviously put together Evensong, but we don't really know when the concert is going to be on at night, the one that's being transmitted from Cardiff. Do you have any update, Max?
No, I haven't seen any more about that. But obviously we can be flexible. We need to publish a time at some point, but I'm happy to tie in with the end of the picnic and whatever's advertised for this concert.
Well, my thinking is something like 5 o'clock till 6.
Yeah.
Giving people a chance to go home, or giving people a chance to go and watch the concert on our TVs. And the other thing I've noticed is that the kiosk will be reopening, and on Sundays it's going to be open from 10:30 till 2:30 on that Sunday. Can we have it open certainly from 1 o'clock till 4? Is that possible?
They are standard times. They are standard opening times. Because we haven't decided what's going on, there will be adjustments to that. Obviously, staff would have to be paid.
Sure. But what you're saying, or what I'm understanding, is that the kiosk would be open on the Sunday anyway from 10:30 till 2:30.
The 10:30 time may be changing. I was told that last week, but I understand there may be discussions amongst the staff that it may be opening a bit later in the day.
Okay.
On a Sunday, that is. I don't know whether Colin knows anything about that. I haven't spoken to Mel or anyone. That came from some other member of staff. Have you heard anything?
I haven't had a chance to speak to Mel as I've been on jury service.
Yeah, I know you have. Yeah. I was told 10, but then that's why I've had to just do that change to the till system so they can change their own times rather than me mucking in about.
But
So,
presumably we would have normally staff at least 2 people on, so I'm guessing we need to have perhaps 3, if not more, because we will not have, like we had at Platinum Jubilee, we had the tea tent there manned by Councillor Marks amongst others, and we won't have that. So I'm guessing that the kiosk, if the weather is good, could be very, very busy. So we'll certainly need at least 2, 3, perhaps 4 staff.
Councillor Marks did actually offer to volunteer in the kiosk very kindly. But yes, we can make sure the kiosk opening times matches in with any event that we need to support.
You're on quiet, Colin. So you went very quiet then.
But
That's better.
sorry, I was saying that Councillor Marks kindly volunteered her services, and the kiosk will open according to demand. It can easily be adjusted.
Okay. And the final aspect that I want to iron out is electricity hookup. Am I led to believe that that's all under control?
According to Dylan, I spoke to him after I spoke to you last week, and he said it's fine.
It's just that Councillor Burns tells me that if you hook up to the kiosk, it will, what's the word, the technical word? It will blow.
No, I didn't say it would blow. What I said is it's not designed to run stuff external to the kiosk, but there is electrical boxes there which have got electric in it. There's an electrical box outside the kiosk, just the other side of the railings.
You don't connect to the kiosk, you connect to the box adjacent to the bandstand. And that's where the power comes from. We managed perfectly well taking all the power from there for Haverhill in the Park without knocking out the kiosk.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. Fantastic. Okay, Councillor Furman, do you have anything else to add?
No, not really. Just I was under a different sort of impression. Really, I thought IC weren't going to do anything for the coronation and keep the cost down, listen to a bit of music. But if that's the case, the other way, it's fantastic. So it means
you're still willing to DJ and bring your colleague with you?
Yeah, of course we do. That's not a problem at all. Yeah, so maybe just less work for me to do.
Okay.
Can I just confirm, Paul Furman? You're bringing all your own equipment, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Think of it. I mean, if you're having a band, do they bring the PA system for the band? I suppose you have to have tech engineers and everything, yeah.
I don't know what sort of band it is. Sarah?
Sorry, Paul, I couldn't quite catch what you said.
Sorry, I said I suppose if you're having a band, you have a PA system down. You only goes for the band, wouldn't you?
I can't. I'm sorry, I still can't.
No, he's asking whether you
Yeah.
if you're having a band, are you going to have a PA system as well, provided by town council?
No, if they come, they will sort out all their own.
Right,
PA.
right. That's
So
fine, yeah.
You'd be one entity, they'd be one entity. And so
better.
it'll be an easy switch between the two if you
Right,
did a
right,
break.
yeah. That's quite simple, isn't it? Yeah. It's not a problem at all. Oh, that's great. It's even better.
And the final question, Sarah, are you doing anything for the kiddies, like little races or face painting balloons or whatever it might be?
Well, we've got our Armed Forces Day, well, they're not Armed Forces Day, the Union Jack flags, which we'll give out. I'm going to borrow some games from the zone, and we've got a stash of craft activity which we can just put out, and everyone can come and just help themselves.
Sorry, say that again, please.
So we've got the craft activities that we've got in store already. We've already got the equipment for that. So the colouring in and gluing and that sort of stuff. And the zone has a load of equipment that we'll be able to borrow, like hula hoops and bean bags and that sort of stuff.
Okay. Are we going to do any races or things like that for the children?
Well, that would depend on the staff, whether we can get the staff for it, and I'm not sure that we can. So it might be unconstructed activities rather than organised activities.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else got anything? Councillor Brown.
Yeah, so have we agreed to the band? I personally think it's a good idea to have a break in between what Paul's doing. It's long 3 hours otherwise, and it gives people a little bit of a change. So I'd be in favour of that.
I've penciled them in pending this meeting, so they're sort of booked depending on what I say after today.
Well, you know the financial limits, Sarah. For obviously we've just spent 4,000 out of the 9. We don't have to spend 9, obviously.
No, it's all within the budget.
Yeah, great. Thank you. Charmian.
Veterans Brass are going to be playing a coronation concert in St Mary's on the Thursday. I think it's the 11th. It's going to be a 3:30 till 5 o'clock concert. So I don't know if that's possible to be added to any advertising that you do for the coronation. It's just another event.
Could you tell me again when that is?
It's Thursday the 11th, 3:30 till 5 o'clock, and it's Veterans Brass. They're the more mature members of Haverhill Silver Band, and they're doing a special coronation concert.
And that's in St Mary's, yes?
That's in St Mary's, yeah.
You got that, Sarah?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
I'll send you a poster, Sarah, so you've got the detail.
Magic. Anything else on the coronation? Oh, sorry, Paul.
That's a question for Sarah.
Go ahead. No.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
What's the name of the band, Sarah, you got? The band's name?
You know what? I can't remember, but I will later dig it out and let you know.
No, just curious, that's all. Yeah, I think band would be a great idea. Fantastic. Yeah. That's all. Just wonder what the band was called, that's all.
I'll let you know when I can.
Don't matter. Nothing, but yeah. All right, mate. Thanks a lot.
So, as I said, this is the 9,000 is not a target. It's obviously a financial limit, so we have to be careful of what we're spending. Paul seems to like. I mean, who Tony mentioned the band. Anyone else happy with the band? Assuming it's in the right price, right? Councillor Davidson, I can see a thumbs up. Anybody else got any comments? Brian, did you want to say something?
No, I was just in favour of it. I think he
Okay.
was asking to see who.
Okay, no, that's
Got it.
fine. That's fine. I just saw a quick wave. Sorry, Margaret, was you the same thing? Or
Just asked about the bands and things, didn't you? So just to say that as just per chance, I happened to meet up with a chap last week who he lives in Haverhill, probably known to everybody. I have got the paperwork in the car. I can't remember his name, but he used to play with the Joe Loss Orchestra, and he said, he'd be very happy to talk to Colin if you haven't got an alternative provision. He does have a band, and he plays anything from all popular music. So I think his name is something Williams, but I can't.
That's Margaret, that's who I've got.
Oh, is it? I think I did send it. I thought I sent a number through, or I asked him to. I gave him Colin's number, so hopefully he phoned in. Oh, that's great.
Then it came through to me, so it's
Perfect. No, that's perfect. I did give him the details and just said that you might be looking for somebody, and he seems to have. Well, let's say Keith Humphreys, who knows all about these things, said that his pedigree is quite impressive. So, and Dave Smith probably knows him as well, I imagine. I don't know. Do you not? I think something Williams. I can't remember. I haven't got his number to hand because my phone's in the other room. But he used to play with the Joe Loss Orchestra, so I think he probably is fairly high. He also said he wasn't terribly expensive, because that was another question I asked.
okay, so I think the general consensus is something to intersperse Paul's DJing, if that's the right terminology to use, would be a good idea by the sound of things. Max, have you got anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think our role, we're going to screen the coronation service on the Saturday in church. We did that for the funeral of the Queen, and it's attracted around 50 people in the end, so we're going to do it again for the coronation. That's for the service on the Saturday. We're not planning to screen the concerts on the Sunday evening.
Okay, that's fine. All I know is the concerts from Windsor Castle. That's all I know. I don't think they've announced the time yet.
No, I had a quick look. I can't see any further announcements.
No.
Just keep on saying mid-evening, whatever that means.
Yeah, probably 7 o'clock, I reckon.
I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if it's anything like the ones they did for the 2012 and 2002, they were virtually all day jobs, weren't they? Okay, I think we've covered coronation then. The next item on the agenda is the freedom of the town, but we've just spoken about that, deferring that till after the election and see whether what sheep are around or whatever, So we go on quickly on to item 6C for Charlie, mayor making. And on the minutes, I know Bruce says the plans, but Colin, did you want to say anything first?
I know that the mayor and Vicky have been working on the proposal, so I think it's coming together quite well. In Vicky's absence, I'm sure Councillor Davison can fill us in.
Okay.
Absolutely. We were going for Haverhill Silver Band. Unfortunately, they're very, very busy, but we've got the up and coming talent of the future. So we've got the Youth and Community Band. So they will be playing for us in between the mayor making, the town meeting, and then the council meeting.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, was there anything else on the mayor making at all? I mean, that's the only thing we normally worry about, isn't it, Colin?
Yeah, there isn't anything else particularly. The rest is pretty well just down to the operational of business of getting it done. Yeah,
I'll just plan to film it as we normally do. Okay, item 6 Delta then, Armed Forces. Armed Forces Week really, the Monday and the weekend.
So, John, can I just ask, how long will the band be playing for? Because I mean, when we have a choir, it only usually do like a couple of songs, don't they? How long will the band be playing for?
Bruce, do you know? I can't actually see you, Bruce. You're in darkness.
It's a good thing.
It will be 10 to 15 minutes, 3 or 4 numbers.
Right. Okay.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Good question, Dave. Okay. Armed Forces Day. Going back to that. Sarah, did you want to start on that?
Can you just remind us of the date of that, John? 17th?
Well, 19th is the flag raising in the afternoon at
No, which date? Which month?
Monday, the 19th of June.
Ah, thank you.
So that is flag raising on the Market Square at 2:30, if I remember rightly.
Yeah.
Then on Saturday, the 24th, is the actual convoy and Armed Forces Day. I'll start with Sarah as soon as you're top left of my screen now. Got any updates on that? You spoke to me the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, so where shall I start? I've got a bit of entertainment booked in. The Hopsy Topsies, who we had last year, who were very popular.
Yeah, I saw those, yeah.
A craft store run by Dawn Gower, who will do some sort of suitable and related activity, as yet to be undecided. I've been thinking, because I've looked at the Armed Forces website, and you can get funding if you tick certain boxes.
Yeah.
And we did quite well on some of the, say, the gender things, but we don't have much in the way of diversity. So I was wondering whether it would be good to go down the Commonwealth route and maybe get some steel drums, so for the Caribbean or something like that, which would be quite a nice party atmosphere, I thought.
If I can interrupt there, Sarah, sorry, just what it might be worthwhile, the person who did the Commonwealth Day, and I'm going to say about 2018, was it? We did a Commonwealth Day thing on the Market Square with a big trailer-based stage, which we were preparing for Operation London Bridge, I think, at the time. He was very good. He was a steel drum person. I don't know if he was a member of a group or just a sole player. I've got some film footage of him somewhere.
All right, that would be good to get him out. I've got a historical reenactor this year to try and make things a little bit different. So he will be recreating some life in the trenches, I think. What else have we got? I've been in touch with a load of people, but I haven't heard back from them. So Lesmer, the Ridgewell Museum, the Be Unique, they might do a performance if they can work it. The Suffolk Regiment Museum have said they'll lend us some old uniforms or artefacts.
Oh, excellent.
And I'm assuming that Charmaine and Brian will have stalls as well.
I'm sure they were. Charmaine, do you want to come in there?
Yeah, last year we had Dave, who does, what's her name? Kelly Bennett, something to do with a Lancaster bomber.
I haven't heard back from her, but I have been in touch with her.
Well, she's definitely coming.
Oh, is she?
She told us the other day, so yeah.
All right, so I'll put a tick next to her.
Yeah, put a tick next to her. And I think you should have heard from the Air Cadets. They're coming.
Yeah, sorry, I'm the Air Cadets, yeah.
The history group are having a gazebo as well.
Yeah, I sort of rudely assumed you would on that one.
No, it's the family history group and the local history
group.
Group.
Oh, okay.
Should be two.
Is Mick Taylor coming for it? Oh, Mick Taylor's coming.
Okay.
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah, Mick Taylor would be there.
Okay, brilliant.
So are we? One problem last year was we ran out of space on the top part of the Market Square.
Yeah,
You're going to overspill into the churchyard like we did previous years?
I think it would be nice, because when the performers performed last year, they were not sort of going out to the crowds. It was quite a narrow sort of performance area. So it would be nice to reconfigure it slightly to make sure that they're performing outwards to the market square,
Okay.
and we could use if Max is okay with that, the churchyard for additional things.
Yeah. That's
Can we
sorry. Go ahead, Brian. Then I've got Tony. Sorry.
just using the garden in the church? Some people have said they felt a bit detached from what was going on. In fact, we had one person said he wouldn't come if he was put there.
On to the high street.
What about
I
the
think-
area in front of the church where at the Jubilee the singers queued, on the slope?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
It's not very level, the ground there, Sarah, for putting gazebos up. We had a real problem. But I didn't know whether there would be room, even with the convoy, whether you could have them down the left against the wall. So down as you look at the flags, down the left-hand side of the market square, would there be room for gazebos there and the vehicles to park up, or would it just be too cramped?
I probably have to bow to Councillor Brown's knowledge, but I think they'd have a problem. Depends which direction they come in from. I think if they're coming from Camps Road, they're probably okay, but some of those vehicles don't have a very good turning circle. Councillor Brown, what do you think?
Yeah, because that's what we was proposing, was to go the route that we originally planned. Yeah, so we'd be coming down, hopefully, down Camps Road. A lot of the scooters actually parked in the high street, didn't they, in front of the church last time? So maybe we could, because a lot of people take a lot of interest in the scooters anyway, because some of them, got some real nice paint jobs, etc. on them. So maybe we could put a couple of the vehicles and a couple of gazebos, so it's on the square and goes around into the high street a bit. Yeah. So maybe that would be a solution. I don't know. But the other people have the British Legion been invited with their gazebo, because they normally stick their gazebo up, Sarah?
I think I might have made an assumption on that one rather than a formal invite, because
I would formally invite them if you can, because
okay.
Yeah.
Paul, Councillor Furman.
Sorry, John. Last year there's a little bit of confusion with the scooters, because they were told to park up the high street and some parts on the market square, and it was half and half really. Yeah. So there's quite a few. I think this year it was so popular. I think we'll have even more this year down there.
Yeah, well, we did actually go over to them and say come back to the market square, but a lot of them said no, we're happy where we are.
Yeah, once they're there.
Yeah, that's right. But I think
but it's true at times, as people do look, some of them vehicles are 1956, 57. People do, it's a bit of interest for people to look at as well, So
the other thing we did discuss last year was whether or not we, although it's market day, whether we, if it's anything like the current market, which is unfortunate, there's not that many stalls around. There will be a few more hopefully by June, but whether we utilise the high street for the vehicles. The first part of the high street up to sort of where 9 Jars is or somewhere like that as well. Or we put trouble with the stalls over there, where even with vehicles is one, we've got that, we don't know when that stuff outside Peacock and outside Argos is going to go. Where they're going to fix that problem. And also you've got slope there, haven't you, if you put gazebos up.
Not very safe there, John.
No, it's not. No, not for anything like that. No, so you'd have to go a bit further up. Into the lay-by outside 9 Jars.
Chair, if it's any help, I was helping park up all the vehicles. I don't recall us particularly packing them in. I think we used the space available. I think if we're not talking about a particularly large chunk of Market Square to enable people to avoid being on the churchyard, and things like the Jeeps, etc., were given much the same space as some of the big lorries. And of course, you could easily get several of those together across the Market Square rather than have their own individual kind of large parking spaces just down the side. So I think as long as there's sufficient space given, I think we can manage perfectly well with sort of 10, 15 feet less manoeuvring area than before. We were hugely facilitated in parking by the decision to put the largest, slowest vehicles at the front of the convoy. They're the ones with the least amount of turning circle, and by arriving at the market square first, they've got the maximum amount of space, so they didn't need the whole market square to park up, and then the jeeps were able to nip in very, very nimbly. So if we do the same order again, I think that'll work quite neatly.
Yeah, I think it's a case of deciding how many stalls, as Sarah's working on, how many we're actually going to get, add a contingency, and then work where we can put everyone. Also, what Sarah says about having like the performers being able to be seen and heard, not just heard, but seen as well, because they were a little bit stuck behind, weren't they? I
think if we work on that basis, we can work something out so that there's a maximum, and we need to make sure that we've accounted for everybody. So perhaps, Sarah, if you can circulate a list of the stalls you're aware of to the group, and then if there's anything missing, that can be filled in, so we can be very confident that the amount of space we need for the stalls we can accommodate without making it too difficult or dangerous to get the convoy on.
Yeah. Okay. And I believe, so before I go to you, Charmin, I believe, and I've got it here, Max kindly took some video last year. Did you went up the churchyard again, up the church tower again, didn't you?
Yes, I took it from the top of the tower.
Which I have got here. So I'll get that together and put up somewhere where it can be viewed, so you can see what the spacing was like and everything, which I think is quite handy. Sorry, Charmin.
That's okay. I was just going to ask whether you would be able to provide gazebos for everybody.
We've definitely accounted for you, and I've got a list. So yeah, I think we're fine.
You think you are? Can you add Mick Taylor to that, because he'll need one? And the other question was, usually we have 2 gazebos because we do craft activities, but if you're going to put up craft activities, do you still want us to do that, family history group?
I think so, because it'll be a different craft activity, and the more activity the better.
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
I think we got about 10 gazebos. Did we buy, Colin, remember? Something like that.
We have 10 3x3s, and we have our own branded gazebo and a couple of older ones.
Yeah, Sarah, the local history group will want one as well.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 5 there. Haverhill local history group, family history group ×2, Mick Taylor ×1, Kelly and the Lancaster bomber will need one, and presumably you've got one down for the ATC, have you? I know if the Royal British Legion come, they've got their own.
Okay. Well, when I send out a list of the stalls, then I'll put what I think the gazebo requirements are, and you can just tell me if I'm wrong.
Perfect.
That'd be good.
Councillor Brown, you're probably going to say you've got one as well. I know you have.
Yeah, I have. If it comes to it, I can get you one. The other thing was, have we invited the police and the fire? I know they like to participate, Sarah.
Yeah, I was going to say I haven't been in touch with Mark Turley, and that's the best person, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mark or Cheryl Clayton.
Yeah, sorry, for the fire it's Mark, and for the
well, no, there's no difference. They're called emergency cadets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, it was on about the fire engine and the.
Oh, sorry, the fire engine. Sorry, Tony. Sorry. Yeah. I actually saw Mark about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he was actually asking me, and I said, yes, of course you're invited.
Would you be able to ask Cheryl if you can get hold of Bill Gladden? Obviously, his D-Day veteran. I know he wasn't in too good a health a couple of months ago. Hopefully,
I've got a contact for Bill anyway. So
it'd be nice if he could go round in the police car if he's well and able to, a bit like Harry did that time.
Okie doke.
that's possible.
In terms of the convoy itself, Tyne, have you had any more thoughts about it, other than the fact you wanted just to reverse the route?
Yeah, no, I think, to be fair, the original proposed route that we had to change reverse last time, yeah, if we can just go to that, give that a try. So I think that'd be great if we can come down at the end, Camps Road, and then just pull straight on, to the Market Square. And I think, the route worked very well. It's all down to the great volunteers that man all the road junctions again. Just hopefully we can get as many.
Last year we had all the roundabout was unopened, was it? All that was that last year? Yeah, was that the year before? I can't remember which year it was.
I know Margaret normally does a lot.
Yeah, loads of people. So we need as many volunteers as possible to man the. Is that something you organise, or is that a Gary job? Do you know, Sarah?
I'd say that's more in Gary's camp.
Okay. Can we add that to the list then for him to look into for us? So I'll get my find out where I've put it. The plans and the pre-Camps Road closure plans, and see whether they're good enough. And I'll distribute them around everybody, and then you can all decide whether it looks okay or not.
Chair, the other consideration for the convoy was Felix coaches mentioning that they were interested in potentially joining the convoy, not necessarily free of charge, but to carry some passengers. It was kind of a spin-off of a discussion that I think Councillor Brown started at the community events working party.
Yeah, well, to me that'd be fine, especially if you get some people on it to enjoy going around. That'd be great.
No, well, I see what you mean by free of charge. They might charge the passengers, is what you're saying. Yeah, okay.
Well, I guess that's up to us, whether we charge for the ride and pay for the buses that way, or whether we pay for the buses and don't charge for the ride.
Or they do it out of kindness of their heart and do it anyway. I don't know. Who knows?
I think probably option A and B are the ones available to us.
Okay. Can we not ask about C? It'd be nice. And obviously Paul's group. Okay. And have you got any I know you say this every year, Tony. Any inkling of how many?
No. It really depends on the weather, because what frightens me to death is we can have a downpour and no one would turn up. Just literally down to the day before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's down to Max to sort out the weather.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Anything else on Armed Forces Day? So we need to just get the list of things together, work out where we could put people. I'll find the video. Well, I'm just putting the link in the chat, and I'll email it, the Commonwealth Day one from 2019 it was. Paul,
What's the time scale on the Armed Forces Day then?
we normally leave at
11.
11.
Yeah.
And we hope to get back to the Market Square by 12.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Start assembling from sort of 10. Main group normally gets in at 10:30.
I'll start advertising the old scooter websites now.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And we have got the Armed Forces Day website, which is basically just got a holding page on it at the moment. So once we get some more details, we can put it on there as well, the route and everything else.
Yeah. Oh, have we registered it with the Armed Forces Day? Yeah, brilliant. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Right. Anything else on that? Should we move on to Remembrance Sunday, which this year is on the 12th of November? I think, are we on to you again, Sarah, first?
I haven't got much on this, but I do have some recommendations from the Sea Cadets, because they had a few issues with.
That's right. Yeah, they spoke to me about it. Yeah.
Parade. So basically, for them, it was the whole parade was too long for them because they'd already done something in the morning, and they were expecting to peel off on the Market Square. And they're saying, if we can't make it the whole route shorter and a little bit slicker, then they might have to pull out, because they've got their cadets' welfare at heart. Because they did have a couple of people faint So yeah, I think we're sort of, I said to them basically, because we're quite dependent on them, we'll take their recommendations on board and probably go with pretty much what they need.
Yeah, I spoke to Ollie about this straight after the event, because obviously I was in the cemetery and I hadn't realised that we had, all our plans were that they were going to peel off onto the market square, let the parade go back, and that was all our plans. If they wanted to play on the market square, that was up to them. And if they wanted to join the back of the parade to go back to the arts centre, that was up to them. For some reason, that didn't get communicated to them, whoever was in that area. And also they got back, they were not invited, although I had already invited them. Nobody seemed to say to them, refreshments and everything in the arts centre for you guys, so you can relax and all that sort of stuff. It is a long day for them, and it's a long time to think. I'm wondering whether they'd be, last year we wanted to start in the high street and the RBL were insistent we started behind, but I wonder whether you could still start the main parade, whether they could start in the high street this time, so they're not got so far to march. And then, when the rest of the parade reaches them, that's when they start playing and off they go. I don't know what people think about that.
Why don't you talk to Ollie, John, and see what he wants? Because
I did speak to him that's what we were suggesting last year after the event. So I said we would be having these meetings and we'd get back to him on it.
I mean, they don't exactly have, a lot of numbers to take over. He took over the drums last, he had to leave and take over because the drummer collapsed. So
I'll talk to Ollie about it and see what we can do. But generally, how do you feel about that? It's a compromise. The RBL saying we have to start in the arts centre. Well, they're not running the show. It's a town council event supported by them now, and that's not being nasty to them. It's just that's the way it's happened. How do we feel about sort of half and half, starting the main parade with all the people in the car park to get them all together, and then the band round the front? Brian?
Yeah, could they not be standing by the old council offices by Queen at the end of Queen Street? And when the procession meets up with them, then they can carry on up to the cemetery from there.
The market square.
Well, I was actually thinking by the market square might be better.
Because that's where don't we have dignitaries joining in at the market square?
We do.
So they could be at the market square with the dignitaries.
I was just thinking of the amount of walking they've got to do. It just seemed an appropriate spot for them to be standing ready for the rest.
Well, the problem there is there's not a lot of space there. At least we're and remembering that lower down Slade is open up until the last minute, whereas the high street is closed. You could stand in Queen Street, but I think it might be better than Market Square. I'll talk to Ollie anyway and we'll sort something out with him. Councillor Davison, Bruce.
Yeah, I'd certainly agree that it would be better from the market square. In fact, last year we had a bit of a difficulty. There was a bit of, again, non-communication from RBL, and I had to force myself into the parade. So if the band was there, obviously the band, the parade would stop, so the band could then obviously go in front, and then we would obviously go behind them, and then the parade would follow up behind.
Well, you were supposed to be at the back of the parade, though, Bruce. That's where you're supposed to be.
Well,
that's what we all agreed. Because when you get to the cemetery, you're not blocking the all the people going clockwise around the war memorial.
Right. Okay.
That was the plan. Councillor Dave Smith, but that's detail. Councillor Dave Smith.
Just a comment on last you mentioned about the Lower Down Slade being open to the last minute. It was actually closed. Lots of the roads were closed almost about an hour before the parade, and it was very difficult to get to the market square to where we were due to meet up. So that did seem a bit excessive, an hour before.
Where was closed, do you say?
Along Withersfield Road and Lower Down Slade. So, because,
Really? Okay, they shouldn't have been.
Yeah.
Because I went with the highways guy the day before. And we all agreed we had all had the timings were done and everything. In fact, I thought there was a problem with Low Down Slade not being, or was it Low Down Slade? Or no, it was the car park going into Corn Exchange. I think was the problem.
I came down Crowland Road at 2:10. Was it 3 o'clock? I think we're due to supposed to meet the Market Square at 2:30, and the road was all blocked off.
No, that's wrong. So we'll have to make sure the Highways Assurance this year know what's actually happening, because I had a meeting with their supervisor, who unfortunately wasn't there that day, but he said he was going to talk to all his people. So that's another problem. That's good feedback.
Yeah, just an observation anyway.
Yeah, no, should have only been shut no more than 15 minutes before. Yeah. Okay, so I'll talk to Ollie about that and see what's going on. I presume, I know it's early days, I guess. Sorry, Colin, I see your hand up, mate.
Thanks, Chair. I was just going to say, we're discussing the beginning of the march, but I think Sarah mentioned the end of the march as far as the band were concerned.
Yeah.
So I think obviously if the band joins at the Market Square, it means they've done the whole length of the High Street effectively. The parade is on the whole length of High Street without any music. So it's quite a large piece of music missing, if you like, down where the people are actually watching the parade. The parade going up the Withersfield Road, there's far less people watching compared to on the High Street. So I got the impression what Sarah was saying, that the band wasn't saying that they couldn't walk very far at all. They were just looking to try and top and tail it a bit. And the parade finishing outside the Arts Centre was a bit chaotic. Because obviously, whilst the front of the parade stopped at the Arts Centre, that meant the back of the parade actually stopped a good 100 metres or so further down. And the actual mayoral party, the Civic Party, was left in limbo. So I do wonder whether or not a parade from outside the Arts Centre down to the cemetery, and then the cemetery just back to the Market Square, where there is space for a parade to properly fall out, would make more sense. I don't know what members think of that. I don't know if they could confirm what exactly the band are proposing.
The band, sorry, the band. Let me just say what we told the band. Well, the band last year was starting from the back of the Arts Centre, although we originally wanted them to start from the front of the Arts Centre. I know it's the RBL who insisted everything started behind. And they marched to the cemetery. They were supposed to have stopped at the Market Square for 2 or 3 minutes to get their breath back a little bit. The cemetery, they peel off and just stand there while the service goes on. Then they go back. Once the dignitaries have gone, they go back, and then the parade follows them. And the idea was they got to the Market Square and stopped, just marched onto the Market Square and did nothing, while the rest of the if they wanted to play, that's up to them. And Ollie said that would be a case of seeing how they feel. And then once they're done, the parade gets up as far as the Arts Centre maybe, it depends on how long the parade is, and it was going to be dismissed. And then the band and everybody else can do what they like after that. I mean, in terms of the dignitaries that were going back to the Arts Centre, that was the plan.
That plan is that all the parents are already right between kind of round of the Arts Centre, etc. So the whole parade was swarmed with people collecting their children, etc. And the Civic Party was left trying to work its way through a crowd. It was a mess.
My impression from Ollie's email is that he thinks starting outside the Arts Centre and finishing at the Market Square would be an acceptable route to him.
Yeah, that was the original plan. up until quite close to the event, and then the RBL said, no, we want to start behind. So they had that extra bit of marching around. But also somebody at the Market Square did not, somebody at the Market Square apparently told them, no, you carry on up the high street, which was not the plan at all. And Ollie got confused about, because the other thing about Ollie was, as Margaret says, he was playing a drum. He wasn't, what do you call it, bandmaster or whatever it's called at the front. But let's see what
he was bandmaster until the lad collapsed he collapsed up at the cenotaph, and then Ollie came and took over at the band there. But the lad was quite poorly because he was very dehydrated.
Yeah, that's in Bury you're talking about. Yeah.
No, it was actually at ours. He collapsed.
He collapsed at ours, did he?
Collapsed almost behind me. Yeah. So, but he was, he was quite poorly. So Ollie took over. Ollie came and took over from him there. But I think, some of them hadn't been, from what I understand, they hadn't been, terribly well. It is quite a long day, and they're not very big lads, and they it's like they don't wear proper clothes, and they don't, it was cold, and then it's not cold, and then it's
the other thing was that we did tell them there were refreshments available in the art centre before the event.
But then maybe we need to document that to them properly, John. Then they absolutely.
I sent them the whole plan. And it for some reason, I don't know what happened. There was lack of coordination somewhere. The plan that we all that was agreed on last year, with all the 3 or 4 pages, whatever it was. Well, let me talk to them anyway. Let's get an answer back from them.
Because after the event, of course, there was nothing, was there? We all just went home. We had no refreshments.
The art centre for refreshments.
At the end of it, did we?
Yes.
I thought we just.
Yeah.
I didn't think there were any refreshments.
There were. That's the problem. I've got a feeling that a lot of people never got that message.
Well, I was told that there was nothing, and we went home.
No, because I know Mel was complaining there was a ton of stuff left. In fact, we got back about an hour and a half, 2 hours after the finish of the memorial. We went downstairs jokingly saying there'd be nothing left, and there was a ton of food and stuff left.
I think there was only about a dozen people there, if that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to get that communicated out to people as well, the relevant people, of course.
Can we not dismiss the parade on the Market Square?
We looked at this before. The problem being is we don't know how many people are going to be on it, and we think that the Market Square will fill up.
It's the parents collecting children.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dave. Sorry, Councillor Smith.
That's right. Sarah just said what I was going to say about the parents need somewhere so they can collect their children in a safe environment.
Yeah, well, the whole of the high street is closed to traffic until the parade is actually finished. The problem being going back to the car park, and we can do what we did before, is go back to the car park again. The problem is then you have to do another rolling road closure.
The chair, that's even further.
It is even further. No, that's right. I know. Yeah.
The advantage of the Market Square is it's a controllable area. The high street may well be closed to traffic, but it's not closed to parents. That's where they're all standing in the first place. But the Market Square, because it's not overlooking the high street, was fairly empty. So in theory, we could marshal that and keep it clear, allow the parade to fill it. If we have to put that into 2 different rows or 3 rows, that's perfectly possible. We can have, as people march in, we can have a set go in different rows. And then there can be a dismissal, and we don't allow the parents onto the Market Square until the dismissal takes place.
Yeah, you can do. We did look at this a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, didn't for looking at other people's faces. I can't remember who. Brian, Charmaine, can you remember? Tony, maybe.
Well, we did discuss it, didn't we?
Yeah.
Finishing there.
I don't know. The problem being is we also have the salute to take place? Where are we going to do that? Do we go back outside the council offices again? Because there, if you remember, is you have the dais there on the corner there, but you also have all the dignitaries and everything stood alongside it.
How about dais with its back to the church on the market square, and the parade all forms up, and there's a formal salute at that point?
To do that?
It always used to work.
Well, we never had it there before. We've had it in the council offices.
Well, we used to have it outside the council offices. On the,
But we're
on
not
the-
suggesting. No, what Colin's suggesting is putting the back to the toilets effectively, or the church. Let's call it. Let's not call it the toilets. Let's call it the church. As a dais there with the dignitaries stood either side of it, and as you rightly say, maybe that's what we do.
So the whole parade comes to attention, and those that are supposed to salute. We've got all the scouts and guides and all the cadets, etc. So there'll be plenty of them. So that the parade master actually has the entire parade saluting one go, and then dismiss formally, etc. That could look quite good, actually. It's quite an undertaking, but if we can get people onto the market square in any form of kind of sense, I mean, we can probably work out as we're going along how many people to put on the front row. So if they come in on threes, the first three march in, then the next, then the other lots then just file up behind until you divide the parade into, say, 3 sections. So you end up with a kind of 9 deep row of people. They all kind of turn left, then at ease, come to attention, salute, dismiss.
Okay, I have no problem with that. My only comment on that would be that the beginning, or the people at the front of the parade, go at the back of the market square, because the little people are at the back of the parade won't see what's going on. So that's the only comment I got there. But Charmin?
Could the dais be on the raised part of the market square by the flags then? And then people who are shorter would perhaps be able to see them when they were doing their salute.
Yeah, although they could potentially be at the back of the. Depends on how well you organise
where the split is. I think the little ones would probably be. They probably would be towards the front of the middle column, wouldn't they?
Okay.
Well, they were round. The little ones were round on the left-hand side of the memorial.
Yeah, the back of the parade.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. If you've got the front of the parade comes in, and then they would be at the back of whatever. If you do it on there with the thing, so you need to be able to control where they go. If you want them to be able to see what's going on.
Yeah.
Unless you were clever and put one down one side, another one down the other side, and fill up left, right, then little ones come down the middle.
But if you line them up looking towards the flags, John, the taller ones, the adults, will be on the left-hand side because they're at the front. And as the others come in, the younger ones, they'll be on the right-hand side. The guys is on the top where the flags are, they should be able to see.
Yeah, the only thing I had was making sure that if they're right at the back, is that you don't have a 3 abreast coming down with quite large people at the front, and then all the little ones are pushed on the back of that queue, if you like, or that what's it called, rank.
Well, we should know, shouldn't we, when Sarah gets all the numbers?
Yeah, we should know.
The groups, we should be able to work out roughly how many people can go in the first column and where we need to split them off. So we could engineer it so that the little ones were towards the front.
Well, we could do what we did at the cemeteries, work out how much space each person takes and how many people we can get around the thing, so we can work out how many people can have stood on the market square. I mean, when we had Freedom Parade, I can't remember how many soldiers there were. Best part of 100, weren't there?
I think so, yeah.
And they went, what were they, 3 deep, I think, if I remember rightly. So they went across the market square quite easily, didn't they?
Yeah, but you've got you're not comparing apple and pears here, because it's a very disciplined group of
No,
people.
no, I'm not talking about the way they stand. I'm just talking about how many people we got on the market square.
So when they all come down from the cenotaph and they arrive where the council offices are, you know, they all just sort of parade along, don't they? So you want them to come onto the market square in each group to salute the dais, and then move off to their left.
No. What's been suggested now is the dais is actually on the raised part of the market square.
Yeah, I get that. So where are you going to? So if you've got the group at the front who are effectively all saluting to the dais, where are they going to go? So the next lot move.
No. They all stay. The whole lot goes on the market square all together. There's no saluting or anything else. They all march up.
Yeah.
And tell me if I'm getting this right. So as we said, the first group will go onto the left next to the church, fill up that back to the high street. And then the next lot will go down, and the next lot will go down, depends on how many there are, of course. And then at the end, there will be a general salute.
Okay.
So there won't be a march past as such. It will be just a salute to the dais and the person taking the salute. That, I think, what was generally suggested.
I think
Suggesting.
Yeah.
You need to work out how they will fall out, because otherwise it's just going to be a melee of everybody sort of, you know, these are really young people who aren't used to being, you know, they're quite good when they're in a column, but they might not be so good if you try to.
But as Colin says, we could put barriers around the outside of the market square to I'm going to use the word cattle, but you know what I mean. What's the word? Corral. Yeah, corral them in. Yeah.
Chair, in any case, they're with their cub leaders and brownie leaders, and it's not the Grenadier Guards. I agree with Councillor Marks. It's going to look a mess at the end, and they're going to dismiss, and half of them are going to turn left and salute, and half are going to turn right and salute. But it doesn't matter. They've done their bit, and then they'll each individual group will make sure that all little Johnnies and Josies are all reconnected with their parents. That really isn't something we need to micromanage.
No, that's right. And we've got 8 months away yet. We're getting into detail here or something, just the general concept. So
you could have the first group walking onto the market or marching onto the market square from the right, on the right, and then your younger people would be on the left nearer the wall of the churchyard. So that might be safer if you're thinking about younger children. But
we can
that's detail that we can sort out later.
Yeah. But generally, so what we're suggesting then, so the obviously the band will only go as far as that. We'll have to find a place for them as well. And then what we're saying is, and what Colin was saying, and a certain degree, unless the band are playing at the market square so you can hear what's going on up the high street to march to, they're going to have to come down from the art centre, stop at the market square to pick up the dignitaries who will be stood there waiting, up to the cemetery, wait for the service to finish, back to the market square and stop. And that's it. Okay.
If you're going to offer them refreshments in the art centre at the beginning, it makes sense for them just to come out the front to start as well.
Yeah. That was originally the plan before we got told we had to do it, out the back. And I think that was one of the problems, was they never got through to the art centre, never came through the art centre.
Yeah.
Because we gave them plenty of time to get over from Bury as well. That's why we did the 3 o'clock side of things. Okay. Anything else on remember it's Sunday, long way off yet? Max, I know it's too early yet. You'll be doing your thing in the morning, so the afternoon is not a problem for you.
That works much better for us, if I'm honest. For Father John, yeah.
Hey, that worked well.
Do you want me to get in touch with the buglers again, John?
Yes, please. I was on my. I saw I was on the thing, and I thought it was you who was going to do it for us.
Okay, I'll let them know, and I'll sort 2 out. You want one for the
Well, did we
and one for
organise? Did we organise? Well, we want one for.
You want one for the 11th?
Yeah, but do we organise that, or do the RBL organise that?
Well, they probably should have done, but we organised it for them last year.
Okay, fine.
People.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, one for the 11th, one for the 12th, obviously.
Yeah.
And we don't do anything on flag raising, do we? And on Armed Forces Day, going back to that slightly, did we agree that we were not going to? It's not a commemoration event, is it? So basically,
we agreed it was going to be a celebration.
Celebration, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No 2 minutes silence or anything like that.
No, nothing like that.
But do you want prayers at either of the ceremonies at all? Because usually you would have prayers at the flag raising on the Monday.
Yeah, we normally do, don't we?
Yeah, but not an act of remembrance.
No.
No.
Not. No, I mean, I've got the previous videos and things. Yeah, no, it's not an act of remembrance because often not many people turn up.
No, exactly.
But nothing on the Saturday.
Nothing at all from me on the Saturday.
I believe that's Tony. I'm looking.
That's
at
all right. Just
Yeah.
so that we're clear. Yeah. Yep.
Well, I mean, I thought we were going to have an act of celebration and just not have the 2 minute silence. I mean, if we need a blessing or a prayer, I mean, I've got no problem with that.
Yeah, no, I don't mind, whatever there. It's just the 2 minute silence.
There are prayers for the armed forces for currently serving members.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, we can use those if you want.
Yeah,
that'd be good.
That'd be great. Yeah, thanks, Max. If you could put that down in your diary for us.
Yep.
Okay, anything else on Remembrance Sunday? It saves a long way away yet, but oh, sorry. Going back to Armed Forces, did you get any joy with Stan at all, Sarah? Did you speak to Bruce?
No, to be honest, I gave up and I thought it might be nice to have something different.
Okay.
And to go down that more of a Commonwealth route.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, okay. That's fine. I'll drop you that link as well, direct on email, by the way, when I get a chance.
Okay, thank you.
Unless you want to copy and paste it, it's up to you. Right.
Sorry, Chair. How does that work with the parade? Are you not doing the parade as well as the convoy?
You mean the parade that comes down the high street?
Yeah. Is that not having some musical accompaniment?
It has done in the past.
Or is the steel band a moving steel band as opposed to a static steel band?
I don't know.
Like
Yeah.
So you do get I'm trying to think what the name of the band is you get that is that does that kind of thing.
Yeah, like the stuff at Notting Hill Carnival and things like that.
They do mention carnival stuff in their gump, so I'm assuming that's a possibility, so I'll just find out.
Worth checking because there's a big difference between those that march and those that don't.
Yeah. But make it a bit less of a march, more of a, I don't know what you call it when you go behind a steel band when you go in the carnival. Is it a rumbo or something like that? Or
Samba band.
That's it. Yeah.
Did the mayor actually come down the high street last year?
Yeah, Bruce.
Right.
Bruce did. Yeah. You have as well.
Yeah, I have in the past, but I couldn't. Yeah. I must have been tied up with something else. I just couldn't remember what he was doing.
Were you in the convoy?
Convoy.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Okay.
Because it came down whilst we were doing the convoy.
Oh, right. Okay.
So they were there. I think they were already there by the time we got back.
Because in the past it was a bit later on than we came down. Yeah. So for the convoy. Yeah. Before we had the convoy.
Before the convoy, that's different. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Okay, let's. Should we move on to? Well, I don't think there's much to say about Christmas Civic service at this point. Pretty standard stuff every year, isn't it? I'm looking, Colin, Max.
Well, we did talk about trying to get schools more children there. They used to happen in the past. For some reason, seems to have dwindled away, which I think personally it always makes it a lot more, a great inclusive event when you've got loads of kids there. They're the ones that really enjoy Christmas.
The problem there is that there's very little singing in schools at all. As far as I know, there's no Unity Schools choir anymore either. So it would be just trying to persuade a school that's got some music, unless there is somebody who is willing to take on bringing a children's choir together. And there's been a couple of attempts at that from St Mary's recently, but nothing's really come of it. So last Christmas was the first time we've had the school carol services back. So there might be something to build on there, but it really, the difficulty is actually organising a choir and getting these children together.
Yeah, it's just, to be fair, they haven't got to be sort of, like a proper choir or something. It's just nice to see some kids attempt some carols, it's just, or join in, it's.
Yeah, and there was, again, for the first time since COVID last year, there was a Unity Schools carol concert. So there's the potential there, I think. But the schools have still been, it says odd, but emerging from COVID, still the first time they've been through a lot of this since COVID and working out what they're doing again. So there's been a bit of reluctance from the schools to engage too much until they've figured out how it works.
Yeah.
Brian, Charmaine, have you got any? You got links to the school? Well, I only got to Samuel Ward, but have you got any links? Because since Matt Russell went, I know a lot of stuff went by the board.
Well, they've got a new member of staff at Samuel Ward, but whether he's going to, reinvigorate the choir or not, I don't know. But we'll be in Samuel Ward next month, so we can certainly ask then. I mean, the other schools, as Max said, it's difficult for them to get things organised and reinvigorated. And I think a lot of the problem with the primary sector now is that the responsibility for teaching music is not down to the class teachers anymore, is it, Max? They generally have people coming in to teach music. I think it's just a little bit hit and miss, maybe. But you've been getting some schools in, haven't you, for Easter week?
Yeah, we've got schools in this week for Easter. Well, just year 4 for Easter. So we've got contacts there. I've got the contact for the music teacher at Samuel Ward because he was keen on doing something. So yeah, there's possibilities, I think.
Claire Sherm was the ideal link at St Felix because she's part of Haverhill Singers, but she's retired now, so there's nobody there to drive St Felix to have a choir anymore. No. It is a difficult one, isn't it? But maybe Max can you can make inquiries with the schools that are in this week.
Yeah.
I can ask Andy, the head teacher at St Felix, if they've got anything going at the moment.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, Dave, forgot about you. You got that link, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, yeah. Okay, we'll see what we can do. Right, I think that put to bed for the time being. So that's Wednesday, the 6th of December, of course. Anything else before we close the meeting? Got date of next meeting is Monday, the 3rd of July. Unless anything comes up, but don't obviously keep people advised of anything you find out, and because we don't want to leave it till July because that's starting to get, let's post a lot of these things. So Tony and I need to talk about Convoy.
Yeah.
Everyone's got little jobs to do.
Yeah. Are we having the Colin, the contributions towards the fuel again this year for the trucks, etc.?
Yeah, if you can give us an estimate of what's reasonable this year.
Time. It doesn't cover what they use, but it's just a real, really appreciated. So, it's, I'll tell them it's the same as last time.
Just let us know how many vehicles when you know, and
Yeah.
we'll make sure we have enough cash.
Okay.
John, the July meeting's after Armed Forces Day. Do we want it before Armed Forces Day, the next meeting? Or are we confident that we've got everything in hand?
Well, this date was set by Collins. I bow to Collins.
Okay.
I was expecting that people involved in specific events would touch base beforehand anyway, because I know you had lots of smaller meetings in the run up to the Armed Forces Day, and I'm anticipating that continuing to happen.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So these are more, I'm going to call them formal events because they're, on, the town council calendar and everything. But yeah, individually, I'll talk to Tony about the thing. I'm sure Sarah will talk to other people, and everybody else will talk to other one.
Yeah, we'll try and get
meeting and call it.
Yeah. So I've got my own Zoom account if we need to have Zoom meetings or whatever, outside this environment.
Yeah, I think it would be good to sort of 2 weeks or a week beforehand, just have a final before each of these events, just have a informal who can get, participate.
Definitely for regarding the convoy, because Gary's not here tonight.
No.
And he's going to need to organise all the volunteers for that.
Yeah, so obviously John's got a map of the route, so if John liaises with Gary or Gary gets hold of John, go from there.
We'll find it first, but yeah. Okay. Armed Forces Day. Convoy 2022. Oh yeah, I found last year's, yeah. I don't know if this is the one. I know that was the latest one. Wonder what happened to the that's right, we went clockwise around the town last time, didn't we?
But you really need to try and get that route out on the website as soon as possible, so that people can start sort of planning where they're going to stand and know.
Well, this is if I just show you very quickly, if you can see, you may not be able to see it very well. So last time we had it going anti-clockwise. This was the one that we abandoned.
Yeah.
Which went round there, down there, up there, round round what's it called, Arundine Road, Howe Road, round about there.
Yeah.
Down what's it called, Bergamont Road. Is that Chivers Road, is it? And then Cleves, down there, and then coming down into the Market Square, as you said, down here. Finish on the Market Square like that.
Yeah.
We do miss out, big areas, but we can't get vehicles down them. That's the big problem. Yeah. Okay. Let me stop sharing that.
But the great thing about that route isn't too far for anyone that really wants to go and watch it. It's only got a couple of 100 meters.
No, that's right. That's right. Yeah. Okay. So as I said,
sorry, John. Last year, Gary organised Zoom meetings as well as face-to-face with his volunteers to give them a briefing on what they were supposed to do. Yes. So, I mean, that's something he may want to do again.
Yeah, we need to get, it's only 3 months away till
that's right.
Contact all our previous ones and see if we get any more.
Yeah.
Because I don't know whether on that particular one, I don't think I did on that one, ever got round to, no, I didn't. Putting down all where we needed stewards. Reverse, what's this one? Reverse route.
Had done. I thought you did. I thought you had the whole thing polished off, and unfortunately, then had to change it all.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've got about 20 maps on here, Colin, and I'm quickly looking through them all, and I don't know which one is which. Typically, me, I haven't actually named them properly.
You did have though, John, because you had Margaret going from near where she lives to up on Greenfields Way or somewhere, I think it was. Because you were in two places, weren't you, Margaret?
lost me. Yes, I had to sort of run half a mile between two, but that was fine. You know, it didn't really create a problem. So I went up literally on the corner of Greenfield Way, and then I ran down. I'm trying to think where I went next, but I know I ran, and I know it was downhill. So I was jolly glad it was downhill. But the person on the one further up who also did it brought the bike with them, which was probably a very wise idea. But I can't ride a bike, so it wouldn't have done me a lot of good.
Yeah, all my things here, I'm looking at all my spreadsheets here, all talk about right into Swan Lane. So I may not have actually got round to the stewarding part of it at the time, because I think we got told quite early about the road being dug up.
That's right, because at one point I ended up at the junction coming down and turning into down Orange Way. So I started up at Anna Cleeves and then had to run down and get to that one.
Yes.
Because we hadn't got enough. We hadn't got enough people.
Yeah, that's why I say we need to try and get as many as we can. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Lovely. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time. And we'll be in touch, but otherwise back in July. So ready for the first one in May whatever it is, 6th, 7th, whatever that date is.
And some of us may not be here, of course.
Well, you'll still be here, Margaret. You don't, even if people get elected, Yeah.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
All right. Is that all right, Jane? Did you get everything? It's obviously a recording anyway. Lovely. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you all. Appreciate it.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you for your time.